Hello everyone! Welcome back to the Old Warlock. I'm Alex.
I'm Jim.
And today we're going to be talking to you about something very near and dear to our heart, which are books written by Madeline Hale. Isn't that right?
Madeline Hale, yes.
Yeah. You may have seen or have yet to see, I don't know which video is coming out first, our video talking about, where are they? Table Fables.
Table Fables.
Which are a couple of other books that she's written, containing a lot of different charts and things that you can use for generating your world. But alongside those, she has written this book, The Arcane Artifacts and Curios, because English is a very difficult language. And this is just full of different magical items that she's come up with. Yeah?
Yeah. Like Alexander was saying, if you haven't seen the other ones, they have random tables for generating character encounters or ships or tavern names or curses, just a ton of different things. This is something that Madeline Hale also came out with, which we have come to really enjoy. They were suggested to us by Marco, our friend in Italy.
Hi, Marco.
Hi, Marco. And we knew about them, but we hadn't actually read them, so we got to reading them and thought they were really cool and thought we'd do a video on them because we think you could use them.
And today we're just going to go through a couple of our favorite items through this book. And then we're going to tell you to go buy the book as well, because it's very good. But yeah, let's just get started. Let's read.
First of all, though, when was the book published?
Well, let me tell you. There. Uh-oh.
I think that this book was published in 2019. I am not positive about that. I know the other ones were published in 2018.
It does not say on the copyright page.
I think this one came later. I want to say 2019, maybe 2020. But they're self-published by Madeline Hale.
And they're very recent, and these are great examples of recent creativity for use in Dungeons & Dragons of any edition or any other role-playing game that you might be playing.
And it's kind of cool that a lot of these artifacts and weapons and magical things that are in here, they don't have specifics about, some do, but most do not have a specific about gives +4 to intelligence.
Yeah.
A lot of it is, it affects your intelligence. It's up to the dungeon master then to take that idea and figure out how it's going to work in their particular style of play.
Yeah, it gives more general descriptions. But let's get started here. One of our first favorite things is the Ring of Apparent Death. The ring is molded into the shape of two clasped hands. It gives the appearance. But then the enchantment. The wearer instantly falls into a magical sleep. Their heartbeat slows, their skin grows cold, and for all intents and purposes, the wearer appears dead. While in this state, the wearer does not need to breathe, eat, or drink. The user can exist in this state for 30 days before they begin to die, and the wearer is not capable of removing the ring themselves. That's not something that you're going to find in one of the DM's guides, probably.
It's hard to say. There might be a variant of that somewhere out there, but here you've got it in Madeline Hale's book, along with numerous other things, numerous other similar things. Some of them deal with the dead.
Exactly.
Or appearing dead.
And something else we got here are the bracelets of sign language. Two simple bracelets made from black braided horsehair, and essentially when you wear these, you're fluent in sign language all of a sudden. So if your character didn't know that before, you can give these to one of your buddies, and then you guys can have conversations without anybody else knowing what's going on. Let's see what's next. Oh, these are personal favorites of mine. The Trousers of Height. They are black trousers with gray pinstripes, and they allow the user to become 5 inches taller or 5 inches shorter, depending on their preference. Big fan of that. I think that's just really funny, partially because of the word trousers. I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, that's right.
These are yours?
I think that they are. Something that I like that I would love to have as a player, really, is the Boot of Motion Sense. And a pair of red leather boots with thin soles. Enchantment. While wearing these boots, the user becomes highly sensitive to ground vibrations. They can sense any movement within 50 feet, and it becomes almost impossible to sneak up on them. Love this. It's just a neat, it's not going to give you any better abilities in battle, but it sure could come in handy depending on what you're doing. On a lot of these, she also gives a bit of a history of the item. And in this case, the history of the Boots of Motion Sense is many of these boots were created for the scouts and watchmen of the king's army. They would sneak ahead of the army and report back or keep watch over the sleeping soldiers. This pair was owned by Aurea Malone, a scout who fell asleep at her post. She did not hear the enemy approaching, and the army was taken by surprise. But it's not that you have to use that particular history, but if it's thrown in there, maybe it'll generate an idea for you to consider for your own campaign if you integrate it into there.
Exactly. And these also are going to encourage your players to more deeply play their characters, because they're going to give them more options for things that they can do.
Which one of these was yours? Did you...
See, I was a fan of 2 on this page. First of all, the Chaps of the Horse Tamer.
Shaps.
Shaps?
Shaps.
I thought it was chaps.
Chaps are like English gentlemen.
A pair of worn leather chaps with the name Dan inscribed inside the belt. The enchantment is the user becomes more adept at handling, taming, and riding horses, with another history written down below. Just a fun little thing. And then also, the overalls of the farmer. A pair of worn brown overalls with tarnished brass buttons. While worn, the user gains a complete understanding of farming, which including the care of fields and the keeping of animals. The user can also communicate basic information with common barnyard animals such as chickens, cows, sheep, and so on. So
I think that's cool.
Say you have a character who wants to bring the idea of industrial farming to your Dungeons and Dragons campaign, and he wants to build these huge, I don't know, what pens of raising cattle or whatever else.
Or just have good farming techniques on the land, to raise crops.
And becomes hugely wealthy off of it. These are the types of things that would be able to help them do that.
Well, and I can't tell you how many times we've had an adventure where people have decided that they wanted to help people out in a certain village, or maybe there's been a drought, or maybe there's some sort of plague or famine in some area. Guy comes along wearing these overalls, and guess what?
Saves the day.
That's right. He's primo importante there.
Exactly.
So.
One I liked here, the Staff of Flight. It's basically just a staff that appears to be a tangled mess of fabric, wood, and twine. However, when you say a specific word, it turns into a glider, and you're able to hang glide basically across whatever worlds you're in.
Nice.
Hand it back over to you.
Well, one of the ones that I liked in here, and we talked about books in the previous video that deals with Madeline Hale objects, and as we were discussing there, as a dungeon master, I'm always getting asked, well, what other books are there in this library? And this is a way to help me come up with those particular books on the fly. One of my favorites is it's called Iliad Days, an autobiography. This is one of the books that you could find. Appearance, a clearly unread autobiography. The image of a smiling woman has been painstakingly drawn on the cover in lifelike detail. The enchantment. The woman on the front of the cover will come to life and offer advice on the arcane. She's a bit of a know-it-all and can be rather annoying despite her useful advice. Good stuff. There are a number of different ways that I can see that would be valuable to people in a party.
Yeah, here's another one you're a big fan of.
Yeah, this one I really liked. This one is The Personal Autobiography. An elegant book bound in red leather. The corners are plated in gold, and the title is stamped on the cover in gold foil. Enchantment. This book immediately writes a detailed history on whoever last touched the book. When a new user touches the book with their bare skin, the book rewrites itself. History. This is where it gets fun as to how this could be used. This book was used by the city guard to determine whether or not certain individuals were guilty of a crime. It was only in the possession of the city guard for a number of years before the city thieves banded together to steal the incriminating book. So all the guards would do is come up and make the person touch the book. Then they could look and see exactly what this person's history was and whether or not they were guilty of doing something nefarious. Love this, though. Really a good idea.
Yeah, then as well, just the dictionary. A seemingly average dictionary, though a few words appear to be missing. The enchantment is the user can pull out one physical representation of every word in the dictionary. For example, if the user summons the word sword, they can pull a sword straight out of the pages. The item cannot be returned to the book. Once an item is pulled from the book, one item can be pulled from the book per day, and once used, the word simply disappears and cannot be used again.
If you wanted
hugely creative.
If you wanted an aardvark for some reason, you could grab an aardvark and take it out of the book. This is just a neat thing.
Yeah, but then it would also, once it had been used a significant amount, it would very much encourage characters to have to be increasingly creative with the ways that they used it. You can't just pull a club or whatever out of it. You're going to have to figure out other things that you can use.
Right.
Yeah.
Like an aardvark.
There are also some food items in here, which I think are very fun. We have Simon's Extreme Coffee, a bag of coffee grounds with the word extreme printed in large letters on the label, along with a warning that it should not be consumed by pregnant women or the elderly. After 1 cup of this coffee, the user doesn't have to sleep for 2 days. When the enchantment wears off, they will feel incredibly exhausted until their next long rest. So if you're in a dangerous situation or a battle and you need that little extra thing to just get you over the edge, you can down a cup of extreme coffee and then sleep for like 3 years afterwards, and you'll be fine. And we also have Granny's Hot Cocoa, a clay jar full of sweet-smelling cocoa powder. The label was written in an old, shaky hand.
It's nice.
Yeah, and the enchantment. 1 cup of this hot cocoa warms the user right down to their bones, keeping them safely warm at extremely cold temperatures for hours. Just a comforting cup of hot cocoa that'll keep you alive from getting frostbite.
And it's not going to make or break your adventure.
No, it's just going to be a
fun.
fun time. Oh, I remember what I have, everybody. Make some hot cocoa for the party, and then you're good to go.
It's just a a warm little sidebar that makes the thing, makes everything that much better.
Yeah. We have the Lantern of Truth, a lantern with walls made of thick panes of crystal. When lit, the light cast by this lantern banishes all untruths. All illusions illuminated by this lantern sizzle and smoke before fading away. So if you have this, you could be very dangerous to anybody who relies on illusion magic. But also, you could protect your party by carrying this out in front of you as you go through a dungeon.
Yep.
So to make sure the floor is actually there, make sure there's not something hiding around a corner that you don't see or something like that.
That's an excellent,
Yeah.
Excellent artifact.
Could be enormously valuable.
Oh, yes. This one's kind of fun. Just a scabbard of cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we talk about from time to time is taking care of swords in Dungeons & Dragons, because most people don't mention it, but it's extremely important.
It is,
actually.
because swords are very valuable.
And this is the scabbard of cleaning, a sheath made of dark blue leather with silver detailing. No matter how dirty the sword is, it is automatically cleaned to a polished shine whenever it's sheathed in this scabbard of cleaning. Mm-hmm. This is a good thing. And in my case, where I track how well people take care of their swords, if you had this, that would be a big load off your mind, knowing that after you had it covered in blood and gore and whatever, you put it away and you don't have to worry about rust forming or things like that.
You're good to go.
What else have we got here? Oh, the vampiric scabbard. Did you want to talk about that?
Sure, I'll talk about the vampiric scabbard.
And then I want to talk about the fresh bread basket.
The vampiric scabbard, a heavy sheath made from blood-red leather with ornate and tarnished silver fittings. This scabbard drinks blood and rewards the user with attack bonuses. When a bloody sword is sheathed in this scabbard, the blade will do an additional 1d6 necrotic damage when next drawn. That is 5th edition specific, but I'm sure that you can figure out some sort of alternative to use it in. When a dry sword is sheathed, the scabbard will magically steal the user's blood, doing 1d4 damage every time. So you have to take care of the scabbard that's giving you these bonuses, or it's going to turn on you. And I think that's
Which is great.
It's a bit of stress. It's a bit of helpful stress that can be added to your characters.
Or if you don't know that the sword scabbard is going to turn on you, and suddenly you just feel a little weaker the next day.
You take 4 points of damage. Why?
Don't know.
Who knows? Figure it out.
God, this has all been happening to me ever since I got this dang sword scabbard. I can't figure it out. Another great one, and this is that it's not a game changer. It's just kind of cool. It's the fresh bread basket. Basket woven from red pine needles and thick yellow thread. Any bread placed in this basket will remain warm and fresh all day. Good stuff.
Put that in a business. Put that on your advertising outside your tavern.
We deliver fresh bread warm and fresh all day. Kept fresh all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great moneymaker.
Let's give this last one. We seem to have it marked. What are we talking about?
One
of the ones that you
I was a big fan of this one. And it's just the perfectly ripe orange.
Nice.
A beautiful, perfectly ripe orange. The enchantment. This orange can't seem to be peeled. Nothing can pierce its thick skin, magical or non-magical. This orange will not rot, remaining perfectly ripe indefinitely. And the history, no one knows where it came from or how it came into existence.
But there could be an adventure in itself.
Exactly.
Of people just trying to find
the
out
origin
Yeah.
of the perfectly ripe orange. And if not,
Oh, well.
look at my perfectly ripe orange. People will come from miles to see my continuously ripe orange.
You could put it in a temple.
Exactly.
You know, it's great. But hopefully that gives you some idea of
And that doesn't even
these.
crack, that doesn't even crack the surface.
It really doesn't. There are so many things in these.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're not very expensive. They're found. Madeline Hale self-publishes these on Amazon. We're going to put links in the video, in the description of the video, to go to Amazon so that you can buy them through us, essentially, and we'll get like a nickel if you buy all of the books that Madeline Hale has ever published. So we're not doing this for the money. We just think these are great.
These are great, and
we want you to be able to get them.
They're very useful. We encourage that all of you go and get a copy of these.
And if you go and get a copy, the thing that we're hoping is that Madeline Hale will create something else, because she's an extremely creative person, and this is good stuff.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got.
That's all I've got too.
Let's see. If you like this video, if you're interested in some of the things that we do, you want to support us, you can buy us a cup of coffee. There's a link to that in the description of the video as well to go to coffee and buy us something there. If you do so, there's some maps you can download that we've made that you could integrate into your campaign. We've also got Old Warlock objects, paraphernalia. We've got coffee cups with a piece of original artwork made by our videographer. But even if you can't buy anything from us, we're glad you stopped by.
We hope you come by again sometime.
That's right. Keep an eye out. We try and release once a week. We'll see if we can keep up with that schedule, but that's all I've got.
That's all I've got too.
Keep your sword on free.
Bye. No, I started.
Oh, you can, yeah.
I'll start. Hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. We're back, and we're... Okay, never mind. Let's just start. Let's start that completely over. Listen, I tried something. You can't.
You know, it's just kind of threw me for a loop there.